The MrBeast problems and allegations do not stop. The bigger you are, the harder you fall. And this video is before just today on Twitter it was trending that someone allegedly was rushed to the hospital from the MrBeast TV show set because a tower collapsed on them. Oh boy.
I am completely burnt out on the current reality of social media. As an example, just one example, I can't even log into Twitter anymore without seeing some kind of suggested content that just has outright horrible violence in it, which I'm pretty sure has a compounding effect over time on people's mental health.
This is true. It's a bit hard to admit because we need a lot of perspectives. Everything cannot always be fluffy and whatnot, but this is true. At a point, it will compound, and well, you're gonna have to deal with it.
I've also had personal stuff going on. However, something that
I'm assuming that is the lawsuit.
doesn't seem to be taking any sort of break is the completely deserved, absolutely justified, and deeply satisfying destruction of MrBeast's public reputation after he became the world's largest social media influencer by leveraging.
Oh, and I almost forgot. Yesterday, MrBeast was also trending about their lunch packet or whatever the hell it was supposed to be. Don't really understand, but as with this chocolate, he's marketing it as this is healthy. This has 60 less calories than the average one, and 60 calories is literally nothing. That's like one sip of water, honestly, or something like that. And it's worse nutrition-wise than anything else. It's the same with the MrBeast chocolate. At the beginning, it started zero slavery, and it's gonna be healthy for you. And people didn't buy it because it tastes like shit. Now it has all the slavery in it, and it's way worse than any other chocolate because it has more sugar in it. Oh, MrBeast, you truly are a specimen.
Leveraging some of the most sleazy, disreputable, and materialistic techniques you can possibly imagine. Now, to be absolutely clear, I don't think the lawsuit that I'll be mostly focusing on for today will actually go anywhere because a lawsuit like this is almost certainly destined to be settled out of court. When you have sleazy pieces of shit like Jimmy Donaldson and mismanaged companies like Beast Holdings, they can't survive the process of search and discovery because they know what they did wrong and they know what the optics will be. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. The reason why companies are afraid of search and discovery in a lot of cases is not because they're afraid that that will actually make them lose the lawsuit that they are currently in. They're afraid because it's going to open them up to more lawsuits of wrongdoings. This is why search and discovery is the big thing for even little guys against big corporations.
No matter how much money they have, people think it does, and it can, but it doesn't in certain situations like this one. It doesn't matter what law firm they hire. Eventually, when you consistently act like garbage all day, every day for the sake of profit, you end up with a simple cost-benefit equation of, I have screwed up repeatedly, and if we actually fight these people in public, the world's going to openly see at least some of those screw-ups, which is the precise point in time where the con man or the dirt bag suddenly goes, wait, I'm sorry, I'm reasonable, let's find a settlement here. And then they use...
I disagree, actually, with this take. MrBeast, aka Jimmy, is an absolute completely self-centered person who just wants the admiration, the love, the social benefits of being effectively almost the messiah figure. That's what he loves. He doesn't actually care about doing right or wrong. He just wants people to adore him and think that he's the best. Okay? And the moment you look into this deeply, you understand, wait a minute, MrBeast, you're a horrible existence. You're a plague upon society. And that's what he can't take. That's what he doesn't want. We have had multiple leaks that inside the MrBeast companies, your first and pretty much main objective is never portray MrBeast in a negative light. And that's kind of insane. That's definitely not someone who is not a self-centered egomaniac is gonna not do.
Use a non-disclosure agreement to make sure nobody says anything after they get bent over in private. The sleazy dirtbag media mogul comes out looking fine on paper because that's their ultimate goal, but behind the scenes, they lost. They know it, their opposition certainly knows it, but the public just never gets to see the details. In my opinion, that's precisely what's about to happen here, with very little uncertainty, I might add, because Beast Games is a dumpster fire of a production, so much so that I'm quite frankly baffled by the fact that Amazon is still working with this guy. I would be
Because Amazon has the roughly same moral amount of integrity that MrBeast, aka none. So I would be surprised if they stopped working with him.
holistically unsurprised, actually, if we got some sort of announcement soon that they're not working with him anymore, but that's pure speculation on my part. I guess we'll find out over time. So lately, advertising itself has become a sort of game of psychological
By the way, this is ice. Ah, I love ice.
manipulation here on YouTube, like having a progress bar for the advertisement at the bottom of the screen that deceptively makes you think the sponsored part is about to be over, but it's really not, which is perfectly legal, mind you. But in my opinion, it's a fundamentally disrespectful thing for your own audience. With that in mind, yes, today is a sponsored
Again, the MrBeast vast majority of fans is 10-year-olds, so they don't care.
video, and yes, I'm about to talk about a product, but I'm also going to do it in a clear-cut, straightforward way. The sponsor is Surfshark. Surfshark is a VPN. Thank you to
Very
Surfshark
cool.
for sponsoring the channel. Back on task. This right here is a redacted version of the overall complaint because, quote, the plaintiffs have filed this action using pseudonyms and applying conservative redactions that limit public viewing in a good faith effort to comply with defendants' overbroad confidentiality provisions, which plaintiff alleges are unenforceable, as well as to preserve the confidentiality and privacy interests of the plaintiffs who wish to avoid opprobrium. Opprobrium
Oh boy, that's already bad when this is done.
meaning backlash or criticism in this case from.
So this is effectively what the government calls declassified documents, but every second line is redacted. That's great.
Mentally deficient Beast fans. At this point, I'm going to read the basic overview of complaints on the cover page, actually, because there's not really that much to see down below since a lot of it is redacted. Quote, class action complaint for failure to pay minimum wages, liquidated damages for failure to pay minimum wages, failure to pay overtime, sexual harassment, failure to.
Don't know about one, but failure to pay overtime, yeah, as far as we know from everything leaked inside MrBeast, yeah, you're not getting paid overtime in the typical sense at the bare minimum.
Prevent sexual harassment, negligent infliction of emotional distress, failure to prevent uninterrupted meal breaks, failure to provide uninterrupted rest breaks, failure to pay wages promptly upon termination, failure to provide accurate and itemized wage statements, failure to.
By the way, the failure to provide breaks, by the way, is that I don't think he's got. There is no way he actually gets through this. He is gonna lose that 100% because you need to understand. You're making a video. You're paying some guy to be in it, aka the dog packed interview with that guy who had to run a marathon and didn't sleep. He didn't have breaks. And when you are any kind of business or whatever, breaks are mandatory. Breaks have been mandatory, and there are punishments for not allowing your workers to go on breaks. And a worker has no right to choose to not take a break, by the way. Yes. You as a worker have no right to choose to not take the break. Any place that you are working should technically force you to take a break.
Indemnify for employee expenses and losses in discharging duties, unfair business practices, false advertising, declaratory relief, end quote. Here's the whole obligatory I'm not a lawyer disclaimer because massive YouTube lawyers apparently like to take people out of context and make things up for the sake of twisting arguments. But even with that in mind, this complaint seems pretty obviously geared towards the classification of contestants as now employees under California state law, which would then result in a lot of responsibilities and compensation requirements. Something I'll address at the end.
Yep. I'm not a lawyer, but if you're paying someone to participate, I think that is employment. That is gonna be ruled as employment in some way.
Into the video, that claim actually takes on a whole new light in the full context of how the company routinely operates, but I'll get to that later on. I can't speak to the future of that claim, but a lot of what they have in here goes hand in hand with a multitude of other revelations about the general mismanagement of Beast Holdings. They even cite in the lawsuit directly the production manual that was leaked a few weeks ago where they say things like, no doesn't mean no, And they talk about how if talent wants to draw a dick on the whiteboard in the video or do something stupid, let them. Going on to say, really, do everything you can to empower the boys when filming and help them make content. Help them be idiots. End quote. This isn't the first time we've heard about sexual
Obviously.
harassment at this company. It's not the first time we've heard about issues with their competitions. It's just a formalized version of those problems in one isolated production, admittedly a very large production, with an emphasis on contestants qualifying as employees to expand the scope. But even if we make the jump and talk about actual employees here, not regular contestants now claimed to be employees, the picture doesn't get any.
Oh, the employee part's even worse, considering the allegations of offering people illicit substances and women of the night.
Better. Beast Games has filmed in 2 locations so far, Las Vegas and Toronto, Canada. During the Vegas shoot, YouTuber Rosanna Pansino posted an email that she had been sent, allegedly from the IATSE, which states Beast Games, aka Project Greenlight, had been deemed an unfair production, where union workers were prohibited from working on set. For anyone who doesn't know, the IATSE is the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees.
Yep, that's illegal.
I can't necessarily speak further on this because I haven't seen the actual email.
Well, I don't know how legal, but unions do have these agreements where they have to, be allowed to work in certain places and whatnot. It's a hustle.
But what I can speak further on is the ACTRA, which is the Alliance of Canadian Cinema, Television, and Radio Artists, which has publicly posted do not work notices on their bulletin. To be fair, non-union productions aren't exactly uncommon. You can have a television show that does not work directly with these unions. Absolutely. But see, normal productions don't result in their contestants getting frequently hospitalized. Normal productions aren't starving their contestants with inadequate meals and then feeding them shitty chocolate bars in front of a camera, telling them to say how much they love it. Oh, you love that Feastables bar, don't you, for free advertising. Normal productions aren't losing contestants' underwear and depriving women on their period of their personal belongings, or withholding proper treatment. I could go on, like how normal productions don't misplace medications or hire registered sex offenders, but I think most people get the point. There's basically
there's a list, boys.
3 different angles right now. First was the Ava Chris Tyson fiasco. I don't need to go in depth on that. It's mostly...
Oh, yeah. And everyone forgot about this because reasons, I guess. There you go. Everyone just... nothing got denounced. Nothing got proven wrong. Everything was, as it is, as it was told. And everyone's like, well, better not say anything bad about it. Asmongold literally sucked his dick. Pokimane did the same. Valkyrie, those were a couple of names. A lot of people just literally said, look at this. Let me just see what I can do here. And then they lubed up the shaft and were ready to go. Because people are afraid. We made fun of so many people. The Actman, Asmongold. Did Munahar make it with some ordinary gamers? I think he was an honorable mention. So many people were just afraid to speak out. The Actman has allegedly made a video where he says MrBeast bad, which is unbelievable. I haven't watched it, but kind of hard to believe, honestly. It's probably just one of those videos where he says nothing at the start and at the end he says bad. And there you go. Spineless.
In the past anyway, but it opened the door for a lot more stuff to come out as the carefully cultivated I'm the perfect golden boy, look at me atmosphere began showing signs of weakness. Second was the workplace culture allegations from Dogpack 404, which is kind of ongoing in a sense, where it came out that the company had knowingly hired sex offenders, run dozens of alleged illegal lotteries, and a whole bunch more that I've covered super in-depth already, so no need to rehash. But then third is the Beast Games stuff. And that's where I think the company's genuinely the most vulnerable right now. Amazon brought them in for a $100 million production. It's like the biggest game show in history, apparently. They are now making headlines repeatedly as people get hospitalized, injured, or mistreated. And now they're getting sued because they screwed up so bad so many times, the lawyers found an actual opening. Like I said earlier, this lawsuit will almost certainly disappear from here forward, in my opinion. It goes to a back room, some money changes hands, easy peasy. No more public scrutiny for that one. But there's also the issue of what they're choosing to actually respond to. When I say respond, right, I mean public statements, because there's plenty of responses, other responses, if you know where to look. like how they got accused of running illegal lotteries, then they frantically deleted every single trace of those live streams that they could find, which I would personally call a cover up. But again, I've talked about that before. The thing is, when it comes to actual human interaction personal responses to address concerns, criticisms, or other issues, there's basically nothing. The only thing they have done is come out and defend their new Lunchables alternative, which is probably the least interesting or
Oh yeah, and it's called, wait, Lunchables are alternative, and it's called Lunchy. The pizza, Fiesta nachos, turkey stackums. The hell is that? Oh yeah, and they're with Prime. You know that drink that's not really also great. That one that's dying. Oh man, I want to see MrBeast collapse so badly. It's gonna be great.
impactful criticism that anyone could possibly have of them. Just to quickly explain, MrBeast, KSI, and Logan Paul, of all people, have decided to launch some sort of garbage ass Lunchables.
Man, you know that MrBeast is in deep shit when he decides. Yeah, Logan Paul. Those are the people I want to associate myself with.
Competitor right now, which people are
Next up, the next thing MrBeast is gonna do is probably launch a crypto.
complaining is unhealthy, and it probably is, but that's what they've decided to collectively respond about. To be completely honest, it makes sense. Avoid the hard hitting problems and fixate on whatever small thing you can find where it's not a big deal and the critics look like they're nitpicking.
Oh,
Because-
it is a big deal because one thing is your kid watches someone and the parents don't know, obviously. But the second thing is your kid's demanding to buy something that's expensive from the creator that he likes, and it's clearly shit. That is a different thing. That's where parents start to care. And I think this is where MrBeast has truly fucked up. Because the 10-year-olds were not the issue. Anyone above the age of 20 was pretty much the issue because, yeah, those people at mass don't like MrBeast. But the 10-year-olds, they don't care. They don't care. 99.9% of them, they don't care. Some do, but, you know, those are exceptions, honestly. But now that now that you're getting the parents involved in this, oh boy.
they probably don't even have a valid response to the fact that they've most likely violated sweepstakes law on multiple separate occasions, hired a sex offender
Don't know what's oh no, the sweepstake law is the lottery law.
knowingly, which destroys the image
Okay, so what's their claim to fame? Electrolyte. Wait, is this just Prime? Is this just Prime? So the reason why this is better is calories less, which doesn't honestly matter, and electrolytes more. Oh my god. There is no way. Because this is what Prime did. It advertised itself as a healthy sports drink or something, but the reality is it has so much of one thing in it that just makes it taste better, but your body can't even absorb it properly. So the electrolyte part is probably literally just the fact that they have Prime inside there. Which means it's useless. It just means that's useless. 7 grams of sugar? Well, that means there's no MrBeast Feastables bought in there. But yeah, this is probably gonna go up when people don't want to eat this, as did the MrBeast bars.
to the fact that they've most likely violated sweepstakes law on multiple separate occasions, hired a sex offender knowingly, which destroys the image of a child-friendly channel, and a whole bunch more chronic failures.
Yeah, considering the electrolytes are constantly the same no matter what changes, it's literally Prime the drink. Wait, actually, let me Google that. How much electrolytes does Prime have? 0 added sugars, 434 milligrams electrolytes. Okay, so it's half. Okay, in that case, what did they get a half bottle of Prime? That's cheap.
And a whole bunch more chronic failures that they're quite obviously attempting to shove under the rug. But even when they use the strategy of avoiding legitimate complaints in favor of the ones that they can brush off more easily, they still look bad, because it's not the first or the only problem they've had when it comes to food. Beast Burger, which was one of the earlier attempts at making a food business, resulted in a $100 million lawsuit.
Beast Burger was the first lawsuit that Jimmy lost, by the way. I have not heard anyone talk about this, but he definitely lost. Beast Burger was the typical result that you see from almost all the celebrities that have their own brands. For example, Asmongold's Starforge is just a thing that he got approached by and he needed to put his name on it. There's a bunch very popular in what's it called? What's it called? I forgot. Very popular in makeup brands that some company approaches you. Pokemon's cookies. Those were already a pre-gotten product. She just needed to slap her face on it. These things happen so much, and MrBeast Burger is no different. And MrBeast Burger, no, MrBeast, not MrBeast Burger. MrBeast took a very fucking shitty deal, and he did not understand it. And then he wanted out of it, and he mistake, and he mis. I can guarantee you this, because listen, influencer deals are fucking fairy tales and magic dust. Okay, if you're a small influencer and you're doing a sponsorship deal for one time with a company, you can literally just ignore reading the terms and services and what your actual responsibilities are because they're probably not gonna fuck you over. That's the reality. Because most of the time, these companies are ridiculously lenient against the celebrities. MrBeast can break 15 contract clauses in a row, and MrBeast Burger would not care. Because this is what all these companies do. Because they survive because of the branding of the celebrity they are attached to. So they were ridiculously lenient against MrBeast, and MrBeast in his stupidity probably took that as, hey, I can do what I want, they're afraid to do anything against me. They're not afraid, dumbass. They literally just know that the money that they are making is dependent on you, and as long as you completely don't go off the hook, it's gonna be fine. And then he decided to try and stop it, and they just sued him. And they probably have settled for, I don't know, multiple millions, tens of millions, if not 100 million. Just so he doesn't get dragged through court, because there's no way he's winning the MrBeast Burger lawsuit.
Because it was mismanaged trash. Feastables ran a highly suspect lottery system in Australia, which I'm pretty sure is going to come back around to bite them soon here, and also decided to remove the no slave labor claim from their website, which again resulted in controversy. And now they're launching a Lunchables competitor, which contains Prime Energy as the drink, when Prime Energy has had not one, not two, not three, not 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 separate products that are alleged by the Environmental Research Center to contain lead or mercury, while the founder of Prime Hydration claims that their new Lunchables competitor is better for you because Lunchables previously got accused of having lead in it. You couldn't make this shit up if you tried. Anyway, bottom line is that a lawsuit has appeared, a class action lawsuit aimed at Beast Holdings and Amazon, because the Beast Games program, allegedly, is so horrifically mismanaged, it's a danger to people's health and safety. The lawsuit is likely to disappear now as it fades into the obscurity of backroom deals and non-disclosure agreements.
I mean, Alec Baldwin killed a person and got away with it.
However, the damage is done when it comes to public reputation. Final thoughts here. I don't think he's going to go down over any of the moral issues or the ethical problems. The stuff that will genuinely hurt his company is stuff like this, buried in the most recent lawsuit, but in my opinion, much more impactful than practically anything else it contains entirely. Quote, defendants knowingly misclassified the contestants blank in part to obtain a tax credit for $2,252,523 from the state of Nevada, which defendants, on information and belief, would not have received if they had disclosed the production's actual labor costs, including the significant labor of the blank contestants in the budget they presented to the Nevada Film Commission with their tax credit application. End quote. Once again, straying into the realm of speculation on my part, MrBeast
lying to the tax man. Oh, MrBeast, you're so stupid. It's insane.
Game show productions have routinely used their own employees as contestants. There are myriad cases where personal friends, work staff, significant others, etc., production managers have all competed as if they are legitimate random subscriber contestants. Now, whether or not that's lying to the audience, this, that, or the other, doesn't matter. It's just that they take their staff, their employees, shove them in a competition as if they're a contestant in that competition. That's the important through line here. And if I'm reading this right, it sounds like the same may have happened here, with a misclassification of who these people are or how they relate.
Well, we're gonna see what happens to this, but that's pretty much it. Anyway, that was Upper Echelon 10 out of 10. Bye.